Tuesday, February 18th, 4 PM at Town Hall. May I ask, is Amanda online on Zoom? Nope, guess not. Amanda is one of our board members who is absent up till now. So if either of you guys happen to notice her name pop up, usually her name is on her square if. Okay, so on agenda number 1.
Roll call.
Oh, well, we have to have a roll call now. I thought you meant for when we took votes. So with us today, we have via Zoom, Brandy Bernard,
Here.
and with us in the room is Phil Cornett and Alan Ball and myself, Ruth Ellen M. Henry. So to begin the meeting, Starbucks Corporation is doing business as.
Lori's got a question.
The recording statement.
Pardon?
The chair statement. About recording.
Oh, this meeting is being recorded by the city of Greenfield. If you are recording this meeting, please notify us. Anyone on Zoom recording us? You're recording. Okay, the recorder is recording.
Hmm.
So Starbucks has applied for a common victular license at their new location, 200 Mohawk Trail. Do we have someone from Starbucks with us today?
Yes, hello, my name's Daniel Brennan. I handle permits and licenses for Starbucks. Thank you for having me.
Welcome. So everything looks pretty interesting on your plan here. Thank you
Sure.
for offering that.
Yep. Do you want me to just give you a little
Sure.
narrative
would
synopsis
like-
here?
Yeah.
Sure, okay. So
Be
this
great
is,
to hear.
this is a former Friendly's, as you probably know.
Speak up, please.
This is
Your
a former
volume is-
Friendly- My volume's too low?
Correct.
Good screen.
Okay.
Lori, you can turn it up in the room if you go to the tablet. There's a
Lori.
volume scale. You can just move it. It should turn all the volume up.
Can you hear the mayor okay?
Don't ask me on this. Nothing's coming up, Matt.
I guess we're at max.
Okay, all good.
Oh, just speak up a bit, Mr. Brennan.
Sure. So it's a former Friendly's.
Yes.
Just over 4,000 square feet drive-through, 86 interior seats, 4 exterior small patio seats. The manager is Kate Bates. Store hours we're requesting are 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. and on Saturday, 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. Plan to open March 4th. And we did speak with Fire and Health, squaring away some open ends, but I think we're on track.
Well, thank you for that information about your expected date to open.
Yes.
On a Tuesday, huh?
Yeah, that's odd, actually. Maybe I have that wrong. Usually we open up on a Friday, so maybe it's a couple days later. Maybe that's when we turn it over.
The 7th is the Friday.
Yeah, maybe it's the 7th. My guess, usually we will open up on a Friday, so I would call that the 7th instead.
Thank you. So it looks like it's rather straightforward. I'll entertain a motion
Any questions?
Well, I'll ask
we'll-
the questions after.
after the-
But I'll make a motion that we accept the Starbucks Corporation doing business as Starbucks Coffee, common license at Vicular license at 200 Mohawk Trail.
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion?
We have an 8x11 of your worksheets, Dan, so it's kind of hard to read the print. But I was looking at the plumbing arrangements. And I don't know if I misunderstood what I'm reading or not, but it says there's no men's urinals? Is that right?
I don't have the plan in front of me, but probably not. We just probably have a regular toilets, no urinal.
If I had a magnifying glass, I could help out here.
I don't see any. I can't tell which is men and which is
Well,
women.
they have a list and account of different things that they're doing, and accounts for men's urinals is 0. So I just
Oh, okay.
thought I assumed you weren't gonna make everybody, never mind.
They call them lavatories. Under lavatory.
Oh, okay.
I do have it pulled up. If you want me to share my screen, I could zoom in more.
Yeah,
All right, let me see if I can share my screen here.
we're showing lavatories.
Wouldn't that
I'm
be
not,
under the
I'm
I'm
building
setting up.
inspector?
I'm setting up the security now for you to be able to.
Pardon?
Thank you.
Health.
Oh,
Alright.
health,
You
the
should be
health
good.
department would be covering that
Oh,
if they approved it or will approve.
oh,
it.
that's a nice picture, yeah.
So here's the
Oh, it's-
restrooms here. There's no urinal, there's just regular water closet toilets. So we're not required to provide a urinal. That's just supplemental if we didn't want to provide another toilet.
All right, I've got that
So
answer.
now, looking at the layout here, it looks like you pretty much are utilizing the same major dining areas for dining, and the same footprint for the kitchen area.
Yeah, somewhat. Let me see if I could go to the, here's an interior view if you're curious.
It looks totally different to me.
Yeah.
I can't even figure out which is the actual entrance to the parking lot. Is that, do you know
Just trying to find it.
whether the entrance to your restaurant from the parking lot, is that on the west side of the building, on the north side of the building? Are you aware? I can't see which, oh, north is there.
It should be across from McDonald's.
Oh, so people will enter into the dining room.
Yep.
All right, okay.
So I'm curious, how many cars for the drive-through can you handle as far as being backed up?
Looks like a pretty big queuing area when you look at the site plan. I'm gonna flip over to.
It won't be out into the road, like the Dunkin' Donuts is maybe in
No,
Greenfield?
that's usually when we, this space is actually much bigger than a typical Starbucks and including
Yes.
the parking lot. So it looks like we have pretty sufficient queuing for cars. I've counted out, we got like, oh, wow, they even show it going out into the parking lot a bit. So they 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So 20 cars could fit in the drive-through. So that's pretty substantial.
Like the car wash.
All right, so any other discussion? Hearing none, I will call a roll call vote. Starting with Randy
Yes.
and Phil
Yes?
and Alan,
Yes.
and so it's unanimous.
Awesome.
Thank you
so
ever
much.
so much for being willing to come on Zoom with us. Appreciate it.
Oh yeah, the Zoom option's great. Thank you so much for having us.
Where's that? Where's their headquarters?
I don't know. So next on the agenda item number 2 has been moved to March. That was the Night in Guild and Company for the Mutton and Mead Festival at the fairgrounds. So we're
Right.
skipping over that one.
I can provide a quick update if you want.
Sure.
Yeah, Matt Conway, Mayor's office. We were in communication with the organizer. They said the planning stages of things are still in flux, so they thought it was better to come to the commission with a full-fledged, vision of what the festivities would be rather than coming before that was solidified. So they should be here for our March meeting.
All right. Thank you.
No problem.
Agenda number 3, Geraldine. So is here asking for a special one-day beer and wine license for a fundraising dinner to be held February 27th, 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. at Greenfield Community College Dining Common. Sounds pretty basic.
Basic
You do this every year, don't they?
foundation, yes, they do.
Nothing hair-raisingly changed. You just,
Nothing has changed.
yeah, pretty much what we would normally expect, so.
Beer and wine.
And they're just sort of there, right? The beer and wine, you don't sell them in this one, you just.
Yes, yes, we
Yeah.
do.
That's why they
Yeah.
need the permit.
Even though it's, and you've got nonprofit circled, is that right?
They are nonprofit.
Okay,
Foundation.
The foundation is a
501c3.
nonprofit
okay,
organization.
okay.
It's part of GCC.
Right, right. But what's collected goes to the
It goes to the college.
foundation and the
Yeah,
college, right?
Correct,
Yeah.
correct.
So this is, I'm curious, it's a fundraising dinner, but it goes for 6 hours?
Well,
Well, we have to do setup and breakdown time.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah, how big is are the meetings now that they have for the foundation?
It's 200.
This meeting here.
There's going to be about 150 people. As of today, there was 151 people
Okay.
signed up.
that's good.
Yeah.
I may have gone to like the first or second one.
Time to come back.
Right.
You give money.
So Matt Llewellyn has said no comments at this time, so we've heard from them. So I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion for Geraldine Voudron, special one-day beer and wine license for fundraising dinner, February 27th, 2025, 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the Greenfield Community College Dining Common.
Do we have a
Second.
second? We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. I will begin the roll call vote. Randy
Yes.
and Phil
Yes,
Yes,
and Alan. I'm keeping them out. All right,
Thank you.
it's unanimous.
thank you, Geraldine.
Nice seeing you. See you soon. Yep. All right, so fourth on the agenda, welcoming Ryan Cadret, a special one-day beer and wine license for the Home and Garden Show, April 12th this year, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and April 13th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the fairgrounds. So we have with us Ryan.
Hello.
Hello. So we have your application before us, but do you want to enlighten us at all with what the plans are?
Yeah, we've done a number of events at the fairgrounds. At this point, we usually just set up our little tent, provide direct sale of our product. For the Home and Garden Festival, we'll be featuring our ciders and our new batch of mead. Just always excited to have an opportunity to do larger events at the fairgrounds so we can help build awareness of our brand and direct people to our tap room.
It's good. Pretty straightforward.
Make a motion.
Ryan, have you been involved with this event before?
Not this one, no.
But, do we know how big it's gonna be?
I am unsure. Yeah, I'm not the main event organizer, so I'm not sure what kind of numbers they're looking at.
Right.
We just reached out about being a participant, and they invited us to set up a booth.
Did they do it last year?
No.
No, I don't know.
A garden? Yeah, that's
Right.
ring a bell with me.
Oh, and
All right, so I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion that we accept Ryan Cadret's special one-day beer and wine license for the Home and Garden Show on April 12th from 10 a.m. to 4, and April 13th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Franklin County Fairgrounds.
Do I have a second?
Second,
It's been seconded. Any discussion, any further discussion, questions for,
Yes, I find it kind of a wine and malt tent at a at a home and garden show just seems kind of strange to me. So I'm curious about the layout and I assume that Michael has put this on his agenda, Mike Nelson. And so I'm just trying to figure out how this is going to work. Are people walking up and down the midway where they have the things and they're going to go to your tent after? Are they going to be allowed to walk around carrying the booze with them? Can you give me a little idea?
I haven't seen the layout plans. Personally, we imagined that it would run kind of like the food festival that we did last year and other events we've done at the fairgrounds. My understanding is that point of the event is to promote local gardening and contracting businesses. We just thought that folks that were interested in gardening and home improvement might also like our ciders and mead, might like to have a drink while they're wandering around looking at stuff. And they invited us to participate.
There's a Zoom user with their hand raised. There might be someone involved.
somebody, yeah, who's,
oh,
Oh, good afternoon. It's Michael Nelson. I'm sorry, I didn't realize my
Oh.
name wasn't listed on there. Sorry about
no,
that.
you're just Zoom users
I'm
right
just
now.
Zoom user. Okay, well, sorry, it's Michael.
right.
Yeah, so let me give you a little overview of the Home and Garden Show. So this is a first-time event. There have been home and garden shows at the fairgrounds in previous years. The most recent one was probably at least 7 or 8 years ago, and I believe was put on in some collaboration between the Greenfield Business Association and the Franklin County Chamber of Commerce. They are not involved with this. This is a fairgrounds exclusive event that we, the Franklin County Agricultural Society, are putting on. Being a first year event, we really don't know what to expect. We're hoping obviously that it'll be wildly successful. As of this moment, we have about 20 vendors who have signed up. That's just in the past 2 weeks. We just went live with the registration on February 1st. So yeah, it's just been about 2 weeks. And so they're starting to trickle in now. We're hoping for 50 plus vendors. We have no idea what to expect, but that would be an ideal. We did put out a kind of a interest query on Facebook to see if people were interested in the event, which is what led us to decide to go ahead and move forward because there was a lot of interest in it. So we're going to be probably using at least the Dole building and the grandstand. But the layout will really depend on how many users, how many people we get. If we are on the smaller side, it'll probably be limited to just the grandstand and the Dole building. But if we do get a larger turnout on the vendor side, if we get a larger turnout, which is obviously what we're hoping for, we'd be also utilizing some of the midway space as well as the roundhouse. So the layout right now is kind of a little fluid depending on what our vendor turnout is. I will note, we're obviously happy and excited to offer the possibility of having the cider vendor. We were not anticipating, because we're kind of on a tight budget with this event being a first year event. We weren't anticipating getting police coverage for the event, which would generally be required as part of licensing for a beer and wine permit. I don't anticipate there necessarily being a huge demand, but as Ryan said, it might be nice to just be able to have people, I see it more of like a tasting as opposed to, people buy an excessive amount of cider while they're walking around, checking things out. So, if we were to move forward with this license, I would ask the commission to consider whether or not they really think that a police coverage would be necessary for a relatively small event.
Thank you. Thanks for holding your hand up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sorry, wasn't listed as me.
Would the police have any input to this, whether they thought they would be
It's
needed?
up to them.
Okay. So it's really
Yeah.
not.
First year event, it's kind of hard to really know what to expect from a crowd. I know that when they were held at the high school, it was very well attended over the years.
Outdoor action too, I think. They used to have it.
Yeah, I don't think I ever went to one of those, but anyway, in the interest of time, I'll entertain a motion.
Mel's turn. We already did a motion, didn't we?
Well,
No,
I'll make a motion for a,
We did it.
Yeah, you guys made a motion and seconded. I was the
We
discussion.
did. I did it.
all right.
oh, pardon me. I've got to do something about marking that.
Commissioner Bernard made it and Commissioner Cornett seconded.
All right, thank you so much. I've got other things on my mind today. So any other questions, discussion? Hearing none, I will call the roll. Randy
Yes.
and Phil
Yes,
and Alan.
No.
All right, and I will vote yes. So it's not unanimous.
But the motion passes.
Passed, yeah. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
And I certainly, just as a last parting thought, I certainly encourage everyone to come. As everybody knows, the fairgrounds has been looking at more ways to become more community involved and have more community events. And this event is really a direct result of community input saying, we want less cannabis events. We want less noisy events. We want more things that are attractive and fun and that I can bring my family to. And this is a direct result of us looking for ways to bring more diverse community involvement to the fairgrounds. So please spread the word. We'd love to have everyone join and come be part of this event.
All right, thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Nelson. And agenda item number 5 is a public hearing regarding Eversource installation of anchor supporting pole in front of, do I have it actually, that I have to read?
No.
I'll continue here. 101 Franklin Street. So it is now 4:23 PM. So I have opened the public hearing. And we don't have anyone except the reporter here. Anyone on Zoom who would like to weigh in on this?
Hi, my name's Steven. I'm here with CHA Solutions, it's an engineering firm. We're contractors for Eversource for this specific job.
Oh, okay.
Would you like me to run down the details? I also have a design sheet I could share my screen if that would be useful.
Yes,
Perfect.
not that I would really know what it is, but I can imagine.
And so will Randy.
go ahead. Yeah, sinkhole.
All right, before we get overloaded with information here, just the general gist of what's going on. We are proposing a installation of a utility anchor right in front of 101 Franklin Street. The purpose of this is for customer reliability and safety and backing the facilities on pole 91/10, which sits right in front of 101 Franklin Street. The anchor will sit roughly 17 feet from the street center line and 12 feet due southwest of the existing pole as seen here. I do have a detailed picture here showing where we have our surveyor installed the stake where our anchor would likely go. And we are just seeking permission on Eversource's behalf for this installation.
So at this time, it doesn't have an anchor at all, or is it anchored to a tree?
No, that's correct. There is no existing anchor. The actual plan here is, if I may switch over, the facilities aren't actually on this pole just yet. We have let's see, there's 2 poles up on north. We have pole 91/12 with dead-ended facilities, and currently there is a support wire running to 91/11, but that's where it ends. There's nothing backing that support wire attaching it to the ground. So we are proposing an additional support wire running to 91/10, where we can then install the anchor to back that up. It is not ideal to install on 91/11 as I believe there's a parking lot. The pole sits right in front of a parking lot, and it would be blocking said parking lot.
Thank you. Thank you for clarifying it.
Absolutely.
Any further discussion from the public? Questions?
What are you going to be adding to these, to the poles?
Currently, this whole project was started as there is a communications company attaching a wire to the pole, which requires Eversource to do a design to make sure, what we call a make ready, to make sure the poles are ready for the new attachee. And we are proposing just a single, what we call a guy wire. It runs from the pole top down to the proposed anchor.
Thank you. Hearing no other questions from the public, I will close the public hearing. It is 4:27 PM. So the board needs to have a vote on this request.
We make a motion that we accept the request for Eversource for the installation of their guy wire at 101 Franklin Street.
Second.
Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Randy
Yes,
and Phil
Yes.
and Alan,
Yes.
and it's unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time having me.
All right. Item number 6 on our agenda is just a clarification to match up what we have made decisions and make sure that it goes on record for the decision that we made regarding the extravaganza and Green Mine Fair and Share. The only thing that we can actually discuss, not the events themselves, but whether our ruling for one matches the other.
The only thing I want to add is if there's any like substantial changes that are proposed, we would have to just kind of table it and then re-invite the organizers to the table. But basically, I know we had a very busy agenda last month. Just wanted to provide more time to review the conditions that were established. I believe Green Mind has a smoking area. Green Mind is a family-oriented event, while Extravaganza, I think also established a smoking area, and that is a strictly cannabis-themed event. So basically, just opening it up for your review if what direction you want to go in.
So if I recall, right now, the two events basically have the same I'll call it, restrictions for lack of a better word,
Correct.
right? It's comparable, one to the other, right?
Partially, the standing conditions are the same for both, which have to do with no legal. No illegal display or sales and no smoking that's outside of the state's allowable guidelines. But you established a requirement that Extravaganza has a 21+ consumption area, 18+ with a medical card. You do not make any of those conditions for Green Minds, but the discussion had to do with matching the two. Hence the clarification.
Another reason to bring this to the table is in the future, if we have other cannabis events return this year, just to really iron out the consistency in the language, so everything's on an even playing field.
I think it's important that they both have the same areas, restricted areas and not, but the public is free to wander and smoke as they wish, but the fairgrounds was also talking about having specific smoking area in the past. And I believe that was part of our discussion as well, that if they didn't want people walking everywhere smoking, that would be their decision to set aside a specific area for smoking, one way or the other, tobacco or.
If I recall correctly, one of the issues was to deal with the 18-year-old that possessed the medical marijuana card. And it was to ascertain that, everybody else that went in there was of age, but these 18-year-olds had to show their card, and part of it was just to make sure that somebody was monitoring that as well as the 21 and over.
So does that help?
Are you adding the condition to Green Minds event that you did not put on it at the last meeting, that they're required to have a consumption area for 21+ or 18+ with a medical card? That was the requirement that you gave to Extravaganza, but you did not give it to Green Minds, which came in prior on the agenda.
So anyone on the board want to clarify what our intent was?
So it sounds like the town wants us to have one policy for any cannabis event at the fairgrounds, no?
I think consistency is good and within the
Consistency.
licensing of things, just to make sure everything's on the same playing field.
I just misunderstood that we hadn't set it up for both to match. So I
It was-
think having.
Yeah, it was probably just a detail thing, like a small thing. But what we can do is if you choose to wish to amend that, we can reach out to Destiny to see if that is amenable for Green Mind. And if it is, then they wouldn't need to come to the meeting. But if it's something they'd want to discuss further, then it would be an item for the March meeting.
So, Mr. Nelson, have you decided as the president of the Agricultural Society to have a specific area for smoking?
For these events that are privately operated, we're delegating it to state law and the event organizers' wishes. For events that are organized by the Agricultural Society, specifically the county fair, the food festival, and now the home show, we do have special designated areas. We've had those at the Franklin County Fair for, I believe, 6 years now. So those would remain in effect for our events that we host.
All right, thank you. That clarifies that.
When is the event? What's the date?
Destiny's is July
July
4th.
4th.
Yep.
So
So,
there's time if you wanted to.
Yeah, I think that in fairness to Destiny, we should, you're willing to reach out to her
Of course.
and let her know, and if, we can have plenty of time
Yeah, exactly.
between now and July 4th.
Me and Lori will coordinate that, and then next meeting, either there'll be an agenda item or just in the update section, I'll just let you know that they're amenable to the change to their license.
Right,
All right, okay.
thank you.
No problem.
So, the other issue that we've been asked to handle is the, moving on to agenda number 7, automatic amusement devices. Which types of devices require separate license or create a new category? And I, for the life of me, can't figure out what we could call it. There's so many different types of games that the public can play. So just refresh our memory so that to make it easier for you.
On the other side of that sheet.
Yeah.
So we currently have the categories. Commissioner Ball has suggested possibly grouping some of them together so that you would have 3 categories, one for pool, one for electronic devices, and one for mechanical devices. And then all of those little basketball and crane games and stuff will go into one of those 3 categories.
So, yeah, this is not a major source of income for the town.
No.
So has any board member given any thought to how this should group together?
My only thought is that we have 3 categories. And my understanding is that the grand total would be like $300 instead of if you had an arcade situation where you tried to charge them, say, $25 per unit. You know, you could just run up a thing, and I don't think that was the intent. As Phil said, it's not a moneymaker, but you take and put each, say you have the 3 categories, and the most any individual would pay would be $300 for the license to operate as such.
3 types. I like this suggestion here, pool tables, mechanical and electronic. I think that pretty well, I don't know the baseball and basketball machines. Are they mechanical or electronic, or does anyone know?
I think in this case they're mechanical, but they could be electronic.
So my understanding is that there are more games to enjoy being introduced in various locations in town. So just to make life easier for Lori, she needs to know what, if we think the new categories would cover everything.
Keep it simple.
I think it's simple enough. And it would be like self-policing as to whether basketball and baseball or boxing or mechanical or electronic, and decide how many of those machines they want. All right. So do we have a consensus on that, the suggestion that Lori presented to us, the 3 different categories?
I have no problem with,
No problem. Do we have to vote on this or just?
No.
Please.
Okay, just to make it easier, to make it right.
That's got a question.
Well, we have,
So we're like if I look down here under the annual license fee, we have pool tables. $100 for the first one, 0 for
right,
more. So now somebody has 3 pinball machines. Do we charge them $300?
no,
Or do we do one for 100 The others are free, right?
I think it's
Things
just
that-
my perspective of this is that it's just your maximum charge would be $300. Because if you had a, full
Three different
table,
types.
yeah, so you have a guy that comes in and wants 2 video and 1 pool table, well, that's $200. But if he wants to go with the mechanical, then he pays the extra $100 for it. But it's maximizing it at 300. Or capping it at 300. And the way it's written right there is, as Alan said, one pool table's $100. 5 pool tables is $100. It's not lumped on top of it. But it's, the most that you can make off of it is it's a $300 set maximum.
Well, I'll entertain a motion to establish 3 categories, pool, mechanical, and electronic.
I'll make a motion that we establish a criteria of 3 different categories for the machines as stated.
Second.
We have a second. I don't think we have any other discussion. We're doing good for timing. So I'll call the roll, Randy
Yes,
and Phil,
Yes.
Alan.
Yes.
All right, so it's unanimous. Okay, so apparently there are no updates as of the printing of our agenda from the mayor. Anything come up?
No, the only update I shared during the section for Mutton Mead was their postponement.
All right,
I guess yeah, I'll have an update for March, probably regarding the execution of the Franklin County Pride, just the public outreach to the neighborhoods and stuff like that.
all right, thank you.
No problem.
And we have an email from Constance Pahalik. Everyone had a chance to read his email? Nothing formal, just something that we have to consider at our next meeting. All right. So we need to approve the minutes that were presented. Where did I put them? It's hard to quickly scan this. You are good, you know that. Being a secretary, I know this is great. So do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I second the motion.
For the January, you have to clarify, Phil. January,
For the minutes for January 21st town hall meeting.
all right,
Well, I'll second that emotion,
well, thank you.
that motion.
Sticky neck, to go back to high school. All right. So we have a motion to approve the minutes as presented for the January 21st meeting. Calling the roll, Randall,
yes,
Philip,
Yes.
Alan.
Yes.
All right, so it's unanimous. We are,
Are we allowed the protocol to ask for people that are on Zoom to identify themselves ever?
oh, we can. Yes. No one put up their hand.
Sorry, just look at Nancy, whoever Nancy was.
Just curious, Nancy, your last name is? Gotta turn your volume on. Your speaker.
She's recording those, isn't she? REC? What's REC mean?
No, I have
No,
the
that's-
recording going.
Our system is recording it.
Oh, I'm just.
So Nancy wants to remain anonymous. All right. Motion to adjourn?
Second?
No, I'm not making it.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right. Second, no,
I'll second the motion.
all right. And it is now 4:46. Thank you, everyone.